Hey everyone, this is Chris and Sandy with the Chris and Sandy Show. We get up close and personal with some amazing guests throughout the entertainment industry. And today, like it's on every episode, we got a great one for you. Who do we have?
We have Struggle Jennings with us today. He's the grandson of Waylon Jennings and Jessie Colter and a certified gold-selling artist for his collab with Jelly Roll on Fall in the Fall and #1 Billboard Charting artist for God We Need You Now. He will be releasing his new single, Alligator Boots, featuring Yellow Wolf on November 25th.
And we're excited to talk to him about that and then some. So welcome to the show.
Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's our pleasure.
Yes.
You know, I always like to start the show kind of same way. Probably next year I'll be changing this approach, but right now it's still, last few years been rough for a lot of people with all the shutdowns and all that. So how did that affect you? And what did you do to maneuver through that crazy time?
Well, it was actually great for me because I had become so dependent on touring that when they shut it down, it forced me to, like you said, maneuver and figure out other avenues, be home with the family a little bit more, and also give me time to focus on other businesses. So in 2020, I started Angels and Outlaws as a record label. Oh, wow. I signed 4 artists that I loved their music and believed in. Gave me time to help build them as artists as well.
Sure.
Recorded some great music. God We Need You Now ended up 2021 hitting #1 on Billboard for multiple weeks. And so, I think all in all, 2020 and having that little bit of a break to work gave me a lot more avenues financially, and ended up being great, but that's the key to life, is finding the silver lining and finding the ways around the obstacles and hurdles and opening new avenues and blazing new trails.
Like for us, we launched the show January of 2020. So a couple months before all that. And our original plan was maybe 100 interviews that first year. I thought it'd be a great foundation. Then as everything started getting shut down, I told Sandy, I was like, this might be the silver lining for us because now everybody has time.
Yeah.
And because of that, we ended up doing over 300 interviews that first year. 600 now. And it wouldn't and I really believe we would not be here if it weren't for that.
Yeah, for sure. That's the key, turning a negative into a positive.
A lot of people would ask, when did you know you wanted to do music? And you coming from a musical family, this might be a different answer than a lot of people, but I like to go deeper than that. When did it click for you that this could be a career?
To be honest, probably 15 years into my career.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
I wanted to do it my whole life. I loved writing. I loved creating music. So my whole life, I was just drawn to music. Music was emotionally and spiritually just grabbed me my whole life. And I started writing poems when I was young and then writing songs as I got older. And I went through phases where I would do music and then I wouldn't see it all the way through. I'd go back to work and try to balance the two. And I had a pretty good foundation leading into 2011 when I went to prison. And I went to prison in 2011, did 5 years. And while I was in there, I just completely changed my life. I stripped myself all the way down, broke myself all the way down. Found out what kept getting me in trouble, who I was, who I wanted to be as a man, as a father, as an artist, and really got to assess everything and really reflect and work on myself. I came home, my children were in foster care. I had a lot of stuff to rebuild, and I just took the stance right there, like, you know what, this is what I want to do with my life. I know that anything is possible with faith and hard work. So I'm going to stick to my guns. I'm not going to give up. This is going to be what I do. And I've done it. I got custody of all 7 of my kids.
Wow.
I own a record label, got a gold record, #1 record, multiple Billboard Charting records, multiple #1 iTunes, close to 200 shows a year. Like, I've been beyond blessed. And the hard work and the faith just keeps paying off.
Yeah, it's like me, now I've never been to prison, but back in the day, I was in and out of jail for about a 5-year stint in and out.
Yeah.
No, it's not the same, but I went
Well, I
through
mean,
19
it
years
is.
of
Anytime you're
addiction.
caught in that cycle, it's
Yep.
still the same cycle.
And I went through 19 years of addictions until,
Yeah.
by the grace of God, almost 15 years ago,
Yeah.
been sober.
Congratulations.
And it was hectic on her because first 5 years of our marriage, we just crossed 20 years, but the first 5 years of our marriage, I was in the middle of those addictions still. And so it was really hectic on her. By the grace of God, he brought me her.
She stuck it through and had your back, and look at y'all now. It's amazing. I'm so proud of y'all. It's so beautiful. I'm so blessed to get to hear stories like that, especially with like the message. And, I lost the mother of my kids to addiction, the father of my stepkids to addiction, multiple family, but handfuls of family members and loved ones to overdoses. And so it's so heartwarming. I get to hear a lot of times fans and people telling me at shows how my music helped keep them sober, get them sober. And I'll see fans 1 year and they'll be like, I'm 2 weeks sober. And then I'll see them 3 years later at a show and they're like, I'm still sober. So like that's been such a big part for me as well, to keep me in check and to give me purpose and a responsibility to stay straight myself, is watching all these people's lives and watching these people fight that fight and overcome it and use my music as an inspiration or as a tool to help them through those times just continues to motivate me to, not fall back into those same dark places.
Yeah, speaking of that, one of my favorite quotes I've heard, I don't know who said this, but I've always loved this, said that your obedience to God's calling is tied to someone else's miracle.
Oh, yeah. That's beautiful.
And that's what you have to remember, because then when you fall out of that obedience, that, other people's are on the line and you don't even realize it.
Yeah. I love that.
What keeps you going?
Well, we just talked about a lot of the inspiration, the responsibility, the purpose. I've got 7 incredible kids, incredible wife, incredible mother, incredible family that, they look to me. I'm the provider, and my father died when I was real young. So, I play that role for my mother and for my little brother, and just, giving back really is one of my driving forces is the fact that I made it through all of this. God pulled me through everything that I've been through.
Yeah.
And, I can't even say second chances. I've had 100 of them.
Yeah, I had 1 million of them, right?
Yeah. So, but, being able to give back and tell my story and give my testimony and watch other people fall in line, and lead them towards a more righteous path and to God, and bring them out of that darkness, or not me, not bring them out, but my music help them continue to search for a way,
because all we are is to plant the seeds. It's God that does all the growing.
Yeah,
for sure.
And I think that's where a lot of people who are trying to grow in God, where they get it wrong, is they feel like they have to be the ones to save their friends. And I always try to tell them, no, it's your job to plant that seed.
Yeah.
Let God do the growing.
Yeah, I've learned the hard way. Like, we really can't save anybody. I've done it with I've done it with so many family members. I don't want to say, this light is driving me crazy.
I understand.
Hold on 1 second.
Sure.
Well, this blind is defeating me.
Yeah.
All the stuff I've been through in life, and I get stumped by a blind. There we go.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So where are we at?
We're just talking about, God bringing us, and you can't save people.
Oh yeah. So like I've tried every different form of it, from tough love to just super supportive. And it's, leading by example. I mean, I've tried all of it, and really until somebody can make that decision and is ready for that change, there's really nothing we can do.
Because it sounded like it took prison to open that up for you.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Prison was the best thing that ever happened to me, for sure.
Wow. And you hear a lot of people say that.
Yeah, because if you go in there and you take that time to work on yourself, because I realized I was watching my whole world outside crumble. I was watching the mother of my kids get addicted to drugs, my children getting tossed around, going from here and there and not having anywhere to go. And, I'm trying to have friends take money here and do this. And I realized I have no control of what happens out there right now. The only thing I have control of is me. The only thing I can fix right now is me.
Yeah. And
the only control that I have is who I am when I come out of these doors.
Yeah.
So, I'd always had a super strong relationship with God. My grandmother, Jessie, and my mother planted those seeds when I was as long as I can remember.
Wow.
And
now, did you have a lot, because we've had a lot of people on who had legacy parents and grandparents like you do. Was that an issue too for you, where people expected you to live up to Waylon?
Yeah, to a point. I think it might have been a little different for me than a lot of people because of who Waylon was. Because he was an outlaw. So it didn't matter how much I messed up. Didn't matter how much I messed up. I was kind of living up to it. Right. But, and that was something Waylon said was, don't live in my shadow, find the light, move into your own light. So,
wow.
For years though, in a lot of relationships, especially in the music business, I didn't tell people that he was my grandfather. And
wow.
Until, it was, until it came up.
Yeah.
Like Yellow Wolf tells the story all the time. Me and him were friends for like 4 months before he found out, and we're riding through Atlanta one day, and I'm like, yeah, Waylon Jennings is my grandfather, and he like slammed on the brakes. Like, what? But
I love
but
that.
as an adult and as I became older, I didn't shy away from it. I embraced it more because that's what he worked for. That's what he that's what he put all that work in for, was not so that we could ride on his coattails or use his name, but so that we had a foundation to stand on. And it makes for great conversation, and but it's never, I don't think it's ever like excelled me any in the music business, but if anything, it does kind of, for legacy.
I made it harder.
Yeah, it does make it harder a lot of times. So, but luckily for me, my grandfather was a badass that defied all the rules and made his own path and stood his ground in what he wanted and in his music and in his fans and how he did things. So, all I got to do is just keep doing what I want to do,
and your way,
and in my way, and I'm following in his footsteps.
Ain't that funny how being an outlaw really is doing it your way?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Outside of the box.
Absolutely.
We've been married just past 20 years, and we've always been this 24/7 couple. We're always together. We've always worked together and all that. And so in a way, we're outlawing the marriage thing because people freak out like, how are y'all together 24/7? That's who we are.
It's your life partner.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I married her to be with her, not apart 90 hours a week.
Yeah, really. That's beautiful. I'm so proud of y'all.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
You know, a lot of people, they see the glory in what you do, but they don't see the grind, the sacrifice, the tears, the struggles it takes to get any level within entertainment. I always like to talk about that side of it because I think it's sugar-coated a lot. People think if you got the talent, you'll make it, but we both know that's not true. If you got the family name, you'll make it. That's not true. So tell us a little bit about some of the sacrifices.
I mean, I still haven't made it. I've made it in my own right, you know, and I do really good, and I'm able to not only just provide for my family, but also run a record label and give 4 other artists their opportunity to chase their dream. And I'm able to fund all that, you know, from what I'm doing, because I'm so blessed, and in return, I want to bless others as well. But I don't clock out, you know. Sometimes I'm on interviews or meetings or in the studio, or, you know, it's 24 hours a day, minus the 4 to 6 hours I can find to catch a nap, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. You got 30 to 60 day tours where you're out on the road away from your family, you know, and people think that that's all fun and glorious. You're sleeping on a bumpy bus from city to city. You know, I'm big on the gym, so I wake up every morning, hit the gym, and I've got a shower, and I've got, you know, an interview here in this city, and then I've got meet and greets, and then, you know, I got a little bit of time to myself to get ready and get dressed, and then I got a show, and then I've got meet and greets afterwards. And, you know, it's nonstop. It'll beat you up. Studio.
And then you feel like if you do take a break, you will fall back because because social media has been a game changer for that.
Oh, for sure, and especially with me being an independent artist, you know, I can't rely on a machine like of a major label pushing while I'm getting that break. Like we got to be all hands on deck. The whole team, all the artists, we got to be all hands on deck. We got to work every day. We got to remind them that we're here and this is what we do. And, you know, and which when your life and your career and what you know, is all purpose driven, it makes it a lot easier. And the sacrifices seem less like sacrifices.
Yeah.
When you're purpose driven, but it's definitely, it's rough, you know, the constant, you know, which I love it. Like I never steer away from a picture or an autograph, but you know, I could be having a horrible day and be in sweats and trying to hurry up, and I got 10 minutes to get in and out of Walmart, and I get stopped 5 times to take pictures, and I can't crack. I can't break from my smile. I got to make sure every one of those, because those are the people paying the bill when I get up front, you know, because of the fans, that I'm even able to live the life that I live. And so, but it's nonstop, you know, you gotta be ready at all times. Especially when you have music like mine that touches so many people. Yeah, you got to be prepared for it. You know, I don't really just have fans. I have some fans that just stop me. Hey, I love your music, but most of the time it's a 20-minute conversation. Like, listen, this is what I've been through. Your music, you know, changed my life or helped me through this. So, you know, it's a full-time job. And then beyond being an entertainer, running a record label and trying to help. You know, I've got my daughter, Brianna Harness, incredible artist, blues artist. I've got Caitlin Curtis, who I signed. We had the song God We Need You Now together in Crusaders. She's an amazing pop star and also veering into some country next year. I've got JD Huggins, who's an incredible country rock, Appalachian Mountain. You know, he's got this incredible.
She's from the Appalachian.
Oh yeah, he is too. He's real deal, chicken fighting. He's the real deal. And then I've got Bonnie Stewart, who's an Americana artist. She's incredible. So I've got these artists that they're also relying on me, you know, to make sure that studios, you know, everything's paid for. They're, you know, studios are booked. They're, you know, the distribution companies doing what they're supposed to be doing to maximize and give them all the opportunity that we can get them. Yeah. So it's, you know, it's not just, plus I got a merchandise company, plus, you know, the touring and the 15 employees I have for touring. So being able to run all these different businesses and be an artist and it's
a lot.
It's nonstop.
Now, are you based out of Nashville?
Yeah, born and raised.
So how's Nashville treated you as, you know?
I love Nashville. I love Nashville, the city. I love a lot of people in Nashville. Nashville, the industry is tough. You know,
Yeah.
it's a boys' club. You know, they kind of got their own system. They got their own people.
Mm-hmm.
You can play ball. I haven't really been in a situation, haven't had the right situation to really, you know, I'm not going to change who I am.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not going to tone anything. I'm not going to tone anything down or water anything down. Change the integrity. So, and that's just been my, you know, so far that's been the thing. It's like record labels saying, "Oh, if they'll just tone this down, or if we can change this a little bit." It's like my story is a little too raw and real for me to water it down, because the next person needs to hear it.
Exactly.
In its full truth, you know. So yeah, I haven't had great luck with the industry of Nashville, but I know a lot of them love me, and I got a lot of love for a lot of them, and you know, maybe one day we'll all get to work together.
And we're actually coming into Nashville tomorrow for a week. We're gonna spend the holiday, and then you know, my dad passed away this year, and Sandy's mom passed away this year, so we lost two parents, and you know, Thanksgiving's a little like going to be lonely a little bit for us.
Yeah.
So
are y'all going to be in town on Thanksgiving?
Do what?
Y'all going to be in Nashville for Thanksgiving?
Yeah, we're going to be we're coming up tomorrow, and then so you're actually the last show for like 3 weeks for us.
Oh wow!
We're coming up tomorrow, and then we're going to be leaving to go to Kentucky from Nashville next Wednesday. So we'll be staying there for 1 week.
Oh wow! What part are y'all staying in?
Well, we usually I think it's one of the airport hotels.
Oh, okay.
And we, you know, a little expensive to stay downtown.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm out towards Hendersonville, and when we get off here, I'll shoot you my address. Y'all are more than welcome to stop by and get you a plate on Thanksgiving.
We can do that.
Yeah, we'll have a bunch of people over and just be hanging out. So
because it'll be us and our two kids, our 10-year-old and our 3-year-old.
Oh, that's awesome. We got 7 kids here.
Oh wow!
There'll probably be 20. There'll probably be 20 more running around.
Yeah, we definitely love that. Because again, you know, that was one thing about us. You know, we wanted to do something different. You know, we've been in Nashville 4 other times this year, but we're like, you know what? It's Thanksgiving. Family's gone now. We are the matriarch, I guess you could say, of the family now. And so we're like, you know, Thanksgiving's gonna be a little lonely for us. So like, you know what? Let's just go to Nashville, because because we're planning on eventually moving to Nashville. It just feels like home for us.
It is. It's home for everybody. It's such a great place.
And it's funny, some people have been there for years. Not, of course, you're not, but a lot of people who've been there, they don't see what people like Sandy and I see in it. You know, we live in Savannah, Georgia, and you know, Nashville is just, it's its own character.
How is Savannah? My daughter is my 17-year-old daughter, who has an amazing story herself. She is actually looking at Savannah for the design school.
Oh wow! Yeah, SCAD.
Yeah, SCAD.
Savannah is one of the cities where if you're coming for SCAD, that's great. It's a really great city for people who do all different things. For people to live in Savannah, I would say, unless you've got money or you're retiring, Savannah's not a great place for moving up the corporate ladder. There really isn't a corporate ladder here. I mean, they call Savannah Slovana for a reason.
Yeah.
You know, but again, if you like laid backness, you know, because there are a lot of people that they want to get away from like Nashville, the hustle and bustle. Savannah's great for that.
Well, we also in Nashville, we got a bunch of little cities right outside that you can slow down in.
Yep. And a lot of the little cities reminds me of Savannah, you know.
So I'm up in Hendersonville, where like Johnny Cash lived. And it's cool. You know, you have a lot of old money, some new money. So it's like everybody's just cool and relaxed. The police do a good job of keeping it nice and safe. We actually live out on a peninsula. So there's like hundreds of deer that just walk through our yard every day, but we're in a residential neighborhood. And, but we're only 20 minutes from downtown.
Oh, wow.
So, but it's, you know, it's beautiful. There's a few different sides of Nashville that are like that.
He invited us to come Thursday.
Yeah, y'all come Thursday and get a plate.
I'd love to. Yeah.
Bring your kids. Yeah.
I'll go do it.
Yeah, we'll have a house full.
Oh, sounds fun. So, yeah.
So as you know, a lot of people, they see you, but they don't see the team behind you. In our opinion, teams never get any love.
They don't.
But on our show,
that makes me so mad.
But they get love on our show. So take a few moments.
I get so mad. I see these artists all the time, and they're like, oh, I did this with no record label, no team, no management. And it's like, yeah, I did it with no record label, but I had a great team. Even when it was only 2 or 3 of us, you know, and the team has grown, of course, over the years. But like, that's why, like, I went so hard on Zach Brown from the Zach Brown Band when 2020 hit, and he fired his whole team 2 weeks into the quarantine.
Wow.
Oh,
guys that have been working for him for 15 years. And I was like, bro, you're a multi-millionaire. You couldn't help him out a little bit through a year. I didn't have a bunch of money, but I paid all my guys $200 a week through the entire year of 2020 to make sure that they were okay. You know? But yeah, team is everything, you know?
So tell us about your team.
I got an incredible team. I've got, my whole family's my team, of course, you know. Also, my daughter and her boyfriend, Bernie, they run all the merchandise. My daughter also has a lip gloss line.
Oh, wow.
And he does his own clothing line, but they run all my merch, touring and online. Sebastian Marbury, who shoots a lot of the videos that you see, he was actually the first person to ever sign me. He had a record label in 2008. And through hard times and stuff, he let the record label go. Still stuck by my side. He's the one that helped build the brand while I was in prison. He made every post. You know, he's been right there. You know, he's went from everywhere from record label to manager to, you know, content director and business partner. He's just, you know, just about everything I do, he's involved in. My producer and DJ Scatterbrains, we make all this music together from every single artist. We got an incredible team of musicians that come in. But Scatterbrains is really he's hands down one of the best producers in the world. Cause I mean, we've got 5 different artists, including myself, that are involved in or bending 8 to 10 genres, you know, like we're, you know, and he's able to maneuver and do his homework and create and dive in through all these different genres and really, you know, make it all amazing. We got an incredible engineer named Jessie, great mixing and mastering guys. Bonnie Stewart, who is also my Americana artist. She does all the administrative stuff. She makes sure that the distribution companies got what they need when they need it. She makes sure I'm on the Chris and Sandy show when I'm supposed to be on there. I just hired on new management, Scott Gaines and Brendan Friesen. They're amazing. Just in a few months that we've really been locked in, they've been working hard and really have my best interest at heart. I got an incredible accountant, Nick. I got a great business manager, Kristen, that's hopefully going to teach me how to save some money. Because right now I just blow through it. And then, you know, my artists, Caitlin Curtis, JD Huggins, you know, they both come in and help write on my album and their own stuff. And couldn't do a lot of the music without them. We got a #1 record because of Caitlin. Not even so much the song is about how hard she went on TikTok with it.
Okay. Yes.
Because TikTok's been a game changer.
Yeah. And she crushes it on there. She's got 1.5 million. She does a great job on there.
Wow.
And any of your artists, if you want to get them on the show later, we would love that.
Them.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'd love that. Just line them up. Let's do them all.
Yeah.
Sounds good to us.
Yeah.
So, speaking of teams and family, we have a third co-host, our 10-year-old, that we bring on to ask a few questions.
Christopher.
So
awesome.
Sandy's going to go get him.
I'll get him.
Awesome.
And while we're waiting on him, what's next for you? Tell us about the song that's
I've got the album Monte Carlo coming out. It'll be out first of next year, April. I've got a single coming out every month until then. The next one is this Friday, Alligator Boots with me and Yellow Wolf, which when the album was going more country, Wolf had just finished up a rock album, and we kind of looked at each other in the studio and we're like, let's just remind them what we do. And so we're just rapping. It's front to back, hardcore rapping. That's all it is. And we snapped. It's a great song. You know, I'm blessed to be able to bring all my band in to use in the studio. I've got an incredible band, incredible drummer, incredible fiddle player. Kareem Thompson, my drummer, he does a lot of the studio work with us too. So I got to mention him on the team stuff. Yeah, man, it's been great. We got a single coming out every month for me, then coming up with the album. January, I'm recording Waylon and Willie 5, me and Jelly Roll's 5th Waylon and Willie together. Also, my uncle Shooter Jennings is producing an album on me first of the year. So we got a few projects coming out next year. 50 dates with Jelly already confirmed.
Wow.
So
that is awesome.
All right, hi, Slurgo. So what's favorite foods?
Favorite foods? I love all food. But I think my favorite is a really good cooked, good slice of ribeye.
Ooh.
Medium rare, lightly charred. Either that or sushi. I eat sushi 5 times a week.
Because what's yours?
Mine's pizza.
Pizza, yeah. I love pizza too. My coach is not letting me eat a lot of pizza these days. I'm trying to get
I love that.
All right, what's your TV show?
Favorite TV show? Right now, I'd say Yellowstone.
And what's yours?
Mine is SpongeBob.
SpongeBob, yeah, that's a classic.
We all watched that growing up, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. That was definitely one of my favorites back then.
What's your favorite movie?
I love movies, so that's really hard. If you think about like childhood, I'd say The Goonies. Most recent, I love the way that they did the new Top Gun Maverick. I think they did it so perfect, and it brought back so many memories from the 80s and from my childhood. So newer movie, I'd say Top Gun Maverick. Older movie, anything from the 80s, but specifically The Goonies was one of my favorites.
That was good. What's yours?
Mine's The Minions.
Oh, The Minions. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, and our little one, our 3-year-old, I guess she'll be 4 in February, so almost 4-year-old. If we're walking in the mall and there's a Minion in a store, we have to go in there.
Yeah.
He loves them.
Bye, thanks.
Thank you. He's good at this.
Yeah, he wants to do his own show next year, so we're
that'd be
gonna
awesome.
work on that with him.
Yeah.
So if you could co-write with anyone, who would it be?
That's a tough one. There's so many great writers, and I pride myself on being a writer first more than anything. And I've been listening to a lot of Tyler Childress lately. I love his writing. I love his style of writing. Chris Stapleton is probably one of my favorite writers that I would love to work with. I already got to work with Aaron Lewis, but I'd love to work with him again because we really struck it off.
Yeah.
The Struggle Is Real ended up being an incredible song, and that was me, him, and Yellow Wolf wrote that together.
I love that tie-in. The Struggle Is Real, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was Aaron's idea. I wouldn't have thought about it because it's kind of too cliche, but he was like, you got to do it. And it worked out perfect. It's been an incredible song. And I'm blessed, man. I've got such a great team of writers, like, you know, between me and my daughter Brianna and Caitlin Curtis and JD Huggins, and my mother comes in and co-writes sometimes with us.
Wow.
And then when me and Jelly work together, you know, we co-write. Me and Yellow Wolf co-write a lot of stuff together. So, and then of course Scatterbrains and a few of the musicians that we use come in to write the music. And I've got blessed to have some of the most incredible writers and artists and musicians that I get to work with a lot.
Love that. So if you could bring back anybody from the past who's passed on to write with you for one day, who would it be?
Oh, come on. You know, I got to say Waylon.
Well, outside of Waylon.
Outside Waylon, You know what? It would probably be my favorite rapper, Tupac.
Yeah, that would be a good one.
He's so prolific and so I loved his.
He was ahead of his time, wasn't he?
Oh, so ahead of his time. If he was out now, there wouldn't even be any competition. There still isn't. So prolific and so sharp and so precise. He knew how to say it and how to make you feel it, you know, and that's what I love and that's what I strive for every time. Yeah.
So where do you want to be in 5 years?
Couple steps ahead of where I'm at now. You know, I'm just plugging away and moving, and I've got 5-year goals, 10-year goals. You know, I have to find that balance of staying hungry, but also being super grateful for where I'm at, and not becoming complacent, because, you know, God has really blessed me and the hard work keeps paying off. So, you know, the goal is really for Angels and Outlaws as a record label, to be able to compete with the majors and not just be an independent, and be able to give my artist the platform and be able to give them all the opportunities that artists have that are on major labels. I'd love to be a few steps bigger than what I am now, and just keep working. You know, I'd like to be in amphitheaters. Of course, the bigger the stage, the more people that get my message. Exactly. I don't really care about the fame. It's purpose over popularity with me. So
I love that.
You know, 5 or 5,000, 5 or 50,000. Doesn't matter how many people's in the room, as long as somebody's lives getting touched. But of course, having purpose, you know, I'd rather it be 50,000 people hearing my message than 5.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know. So yeah, just you know, I want to be a few steps ahead of where I'm at now and just still working.
So let's look 15 years down the road. Let's say you are a success on a grand scale. Whatever that looks like for you, you're there. What do you hope you never forget along that journey?
The people that were here right now.
Wow.
You know, because a lot of times I know I'm not going to forget what I've been through. I'm reminded of it daily, you know, and I don't want to forget what it took to get here. I don't want to lose the hunger.
Yeah.
I don't want to lose. I don't want to lose that fire and that flame and that passion, which, you know, when you're moving in purpose again, a lot of times, you know, you're always looking to create something larger than yourself. You know, and being willing to take the back seat for the greater good of the ones around you. But yeah, I don't want to lose sight. I don't want to let anything distort my view, and I don't want to forget all the people that helped me get to where I'm at, because I know that happens to a lot of people.
Yeah, because a lot of times when an artist rises, they change teams.
Yeah, and sometimes it's because the teams can't grow with them. Sometimes people start to get entitled. They start to feel like they deserve more than what they're given. Oh, wow. And a lot of times that's not true. A lot of times, well, not that they don't deserve it, but, you know, like there's a lot of people on my team that I wish I could pay a hefty salary. I don't have it yet, you know, and they may see what I make, or hear a number of round about what I make a month, and maybe they don't understand that, but they don't also know what all goes in
the expenses.
All the expenses, you know.
Because gross many times is gross, right?
Yeah, I live off of about 15% of what I make. The rest of it goes right back into the company, right back into the other artists, right back into building this and keeping the fire going, you know.
Absolutely.
But then you have some that, you know, they're loyal and they work and they play their position, and, you know, those are the ones that, you know, I hope that I have around for the whole long ride.
Yeah.
Awesome. And what inspires you?
I think what inspires me the most is the inspiration from the fans, from the people who reach out and say, hey, your music helps me every day. Your music got me through this. Your music, you know, changed my life or helped me know that I can make it too, and hearing their stories of strength and hope, and hearing their sobriety stories, or maybe they were going through a bad divorce and got back with their wife, or they hadn't seen their kids and they rebuilt those relationships. Whatever their struggles have been, hearing them overcome that is what it keeps my fire burning. It's what keeps me inspired to know that I'm where I'm supposed to be and I'm doing what I'm supposed to be.
Yes.
And there's some meaning behind it,
Exactly.
Yes. What would you like for your legacy to be? What would you like to be most known and remembered for?
I think that I never gave up, and I loved everybody in my life more than I love myself. That I truly want to see everybody succeed and excel. And I want to see everybody, even people that I don't get along with anymore, I wish them the best. And I want to see them all have success stories,
Yeah.
Yes.
And I split my last $100 bill, with anybody that needed it.
Awesome. Yeah. And if you could say anything to your fans and followers, what would you want to tell them?
I love y'all and thank y'all so much. Y'all have held me down through some tough times. Wow. Some of y'all are new and you're just getting here, but it doesn't matter if you've been rocking with me 15 years or you've been here for 15 minutes. Thank you. I love you. It's going to be a crazy ride. I'm not giving up. I'm not going to let you down. I'm going to keep working. I'm going to keep putting out incredible music. My artists are going to keep putting out incredible music, and we're just getting started. And, I just want to tell everybody, thank you so much. Y'all have truly blessed my life and given me a purpose.
Love that. So as we close out here, what advice would you give that person that wants to do what you do?
Don't give up. Absolutely. Do not give up. Do what is true to yourself. Do what feels right to you. And just keep working. Have faith and hard work. That's really all it takes. Is if you believe and you believe in yourself and you work your ass off and you don't accept no for an answer, you don't use the word can't, you don't stop. The only way to lose a game is if you quit playing.
Yeah.
So,
it's funny what you said about don't accept no. I remember one of the guests that we got on the show, I wanted him so bad, I emailed the manager every month. Because you never know when it's going to open back up. And it was always a no. And it was always a no. And finally, the manager's like, look, I know you say you would like 30 to 45 minutes. That's our average show. He was like, but I can't give you that. He says, even if I could give you a time with him, it could only be 5 or 10 minutes. I was like, well, we'll take 10 minutes. And so if I wouldn't been consistent, we wouldn't have got him on the show.
That's awesome.
So tell everybody how they can find you.
I'm on Instagram at I Am Struggle. On Twitter at Young Strugg, Facebook Struggle Jennings, YouTube Struggle Jennings. And if you forget any of that, just Google Struggle Jennings. That's all.
Exactly. We really enjoyed having you on the show today, and we definitely look forward to meeting you on Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
All right, you have a great day.
I'll see y'all then.